I remember this day like it was yesterday. It was at a time when I was just 12 years old. I was in grade 6 at that time. It is a very tough age for some kids, especially a kid like me. I was an average student. I was smart but did just okay in classes. I was relatively chubby as compared to my classmates, and this was the reason I was bullied every day. At school, it was time for a break. This was my least favorite time of the day. Yes, I wanted a breather, but all the students could not be supervised at this time, and it was when I was bullied the most. So like every day, when all the students left the auditorium, I stayed back and was eating my lunch. The popular group of my class came back in the auditorium. They were 5 boys. I knew what was going to happen, so I tried to run when one of them grabbed me and pushed me on the floor and started yelling.
"You are so fat that you can't even run."
I held back tears and got up. They pushed me down again, threw lunch on my face. I got up angrily this time. I was so angry that I wanted to kill them all. This is what happened every day. If they didn't push me, then they would hit me with a ball in the playground or push my face down the toilet seat. They just wouldn't stop. I ran out of there yelling that I hope bad things happen to all of them. They just kept on laughing. That night, I stayed in bed crying. I looked at the comic I was working on. Yes, I was also a geek back then. The hero in my comic was not only popular everywhere but would also kill the people who would do bad. He was a killer but was loved by all nonetheless. I drew a comic that night showing that my hero killed all the boys by pushing them down the roof. The comic started to glow and then went back to normal. I thought I was hallucinating, so just went to sleep. The next morning, I saw the group on the rooftop of the school. They were in the air as if they were possessed by something. All the students in the ground were screaming. On the other hand, I was just confused. I wanted to help them, but when I was about to go upstairs, they were just dropped on the floor. They all passed away instantly. It was a horrible sight. I didn't know what to do. I saw my bag glowing. I opened it and my comics were in the bag. It was basically the comic book that was glowing. I was horrified. What was happening? Firstly, I never brought the comic book with me, so I didn't understand how it ended in my bag. Secondly, why was it glowing at night and then again when the group just died? Was it because it was cursed? I ran back home and hid in one corner of my room. Was I the cause of their death? It couldn't be, but then again, how did they die the exact same way I wrote in my comics? I was sweating and crying. I wanted to get rid of the comics, so I tore them up, burnt it, and threw it in the bin. The school gave us all time off since the horrible news. All the students were terrified. I was at my worst, so my mom took me out for the weekend to relax. When I was unpacking at the hotel, the comic book fell out of my bag. Yes, the same one I destroyed. I screamed. I picked it up, told my mom that I will be back soon, and left the room. I was at a hill station, and there was a lake close by. I threw the comic book in the lake and ran from there. When I got back in the room, the book was in my suitcase again, a little wet this time. I was going crazy. What was I supposed to do? When I couldn't figure anything out, I just hid the book and decided not to tell anyone about it. Sometime later, people around me started to die. They were usually bad, so it was okay. My comic book disappeared on its own. I never had to worry about it again. Well, this was my story. I will be telling another one soon.